Boom, you have reached review time with Imperial, and today's review will be BMF Season 2, Episode 10. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. This is the season finale. Uh, another good season. Shout out to the writers and the actors and actresses that put this together. It keeps people coming back week to week to watch the episodes and tune in to see what's going to happen next, even though you see the documentaries and you kind of know how the story ends. However, you seeing it play out from the past, and it's still cooking. I think they're in the setting of like 1990. So let's just get into the episode. So in this episode, Meech finds out that Mo was killed. Of course, he automatically connected dots. It had something to do with Lamar. Lamar is tripping in this episode, getting high. He starts smoking that rock. His cousin is tired of him, Alvin, and calls Meech up just to and this is not in, me giving this is not in timeline. I'm just summing Lamar's situation up. His cousin ended up calling Meech throughout the episode. Meech goes give him. Meech could have killed him, but Terry told him, look, we not gangsters, we not killers, we businessmen. So that played in Meech's head. So what Meech's mind frame was, he threw his cousin some money and kept telling him, feed on rock. What he want to happen to Lamar is for him to become a sherm head and be strung out on crack, and he won't be like he was. However, people know crackheads, they still do killings too and stuff when they can't get that rock. So also in this episode, you had what is building up. You see Lucille and Charles. Lucille want a divorce. You see Lucille is changing her way, so she's not wearing her church attire. She's wearing more sexy and provocative clothing in this episode. She changing her hairstyle up, where she gonna grab something. She's still a beautiful woman, and so Charles is going through regret. Same thing that a wise man would tell any man: if you're not ready to see your woman walk down the street with another man, you better tighten up. But it's too late for Charles. So you have that going on. Then you have Detective Bryant. They have his I think it was the DEA that was investigating K9. So Charles and Detective Bryant and his partner went in to talk to K9, pretty much saying, hey, we know you know information. So he started running tape. He wasn't giving no tape at first, but when his girlfriend came in and she gave up all the information, he pretty much started giving up tape on all the hitters and everything. He even gave up his connect, and people caught that. He gave up his connect that Meech and them connect now. So that's gonna be telling, because if you've been following like DJ Vlad interviews and the documentaries, the woman that says she the first lady of BMF says that she put Meech and them on to another connect or whatever. So that was telling when K9 said he gave up his connect. But whatever he did, he didn't give up Meech and Terry. So he stayed true to that. So meanwhile, Meech and them met up with Bryant, pretty much told him, hey, we got the guy who seen you, the witness that seen you snatch J-Mo up, and we'll pin that on you. He wants Bryant to bring Big Mickey the gun, start hanging over his head. Meanwhile, Bryant's son is getting bullied again. He got beat up, and his comics ripped. So when Bryant went home to get the gun, he can't find the gun. His partner comes in. She pretty much like, I just want to. He said, "What are you doing? Like, you stalking me again?" He like, "No." She like, "Well, I heard over the dispatch that about your son." He's like, "What are you talking about?" So he arrived to the park, and his son killed the bully. So of course it got B. Mickey's prints on it. That's the same gun that killed Kato, J-Bo, now killed this kid. And so the sergeant is asking pretty much, why would you be having this gun, suppressing this gun all this long? So the partner pretty much said she'll go out, and Detective Wu said she would go out and talk to B. Mickey to get him to confess for the other two murders. So he approached B. Mickey to go get the other two murders. And B. Mickey said pretty much, if you had information on me, y'all would already lock me up. Now when she left, one of Meech's homies was watching B. Mickey, seeing her leaving his house. So of course he went back and told Meech. Now Meech was smiling with Terry. They had a heart-to-heart bro talk, like, listen, we need to extend. You stay here, be the king of Detroit. I'm gonna branch off and be the king of ATL. We gonna do this. And then Terry like, come on, man, like, you thought I got back in the game for us to break up again? He like, nah, we just gonna expand. So they thinking they still going to be brothers, and of course they still be brothers, but be as tight as they was. But this is where the divide starts to come, or whatever. So they had something that was called like Hair Wars, and at that event, what took place is Terry came there with Markeisha. Now he already got the phone call that Markeisha was pretty much ain't have nowhere to stay, and he showed up, talked to the kids, I'm gonna take care of y'all. So it just shows how much he was head over heels for Markeisha. And he talks about how he loves her. She said, I love you too. So it kind of makes it look like he's gullible, all into her, and she into him, but it seems like she's more into him for what he could do for her versus true love. So at the Hair Awards, he brings her there, and his first baby mom, she's there. And of course, Lucille, she's standoffish with Markeisha because she's automatically looking at her, you too old for my son. And she can see her nails clawed into Terry. And then a baby mom come up, so they have some words with each other. Meanwhile, while T is walking off with Markeisha, Saint, played by DC Fly, is one of Boom's, which is Markeisha's husband's goons. Basically told him, you need to stay away from Markeisha. Terry brushed it off, act like it was nothing. So you knew that was gonna come back and play full circle. Now, fast forward to Meech having a going away party. Everybody's there. He's showing them love. Talked to his pop. Told him don't trip about the mom. Lucille show up. She got the salt and pepper do. She got the get up on, so she looking real fly. And Meech gets his dad a brand new guitar. So what is supposed to happen in the future is that the dad get back into music and he end up making a hit gospel song or whatever eventually. But eventually the dad will get in the game as well. So B. Mickey shows up, but he wasn't invited. So he's like, hey man, I wasn't invited, what's up? And so Meech pretty much was like, man, Sterling told me pretty much you Brian's partner came to your house. I can't trust you. You did to me, you know what I'm saying? You're not welcome here no more. So basically he's looking at B. Mickey, even though he's not having him killed because that's his childhood homie, but he's looking at B Mickey as a liability. He can't trust him because he's too hot, and eventually he knows too much information and he'll fold. So it just showed B Mickey walking off. However, I'm pretty sure B Mickey will be in the mix somehow down the road, but he just won't be part of BMF. He'll be doing his own thing. So goes from there. Meech and Terry have a heart to heart about, basically them going their separate ways from the womb to the tomb. Meech drives off to Atlanta. He touches down. Now, what it does show while all this is going on, that it escapes me. Part of me escapes me with Monique's character name, but nevertheless, it shows her character and a big guy who Meech and Terry got money off of in the dice game. He comes back pretty much. He's in a strip club called Girls, 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 and he's at her strip club and telling her he wants the information on Meech and them. Just give him names so that he get his money back. So she pretty much told him disperse. So now Meech comes in the ATL, and when he comes in the ATL, he pretty much shows up to her, Goldie, that's her name. So it hit me, Goldie. Finally hit me. Pardon me. So he shows up to ATL at her strip club, pretty much telling her, like, hey, I need you to put me down, you know what I'm saying? So she gave her money, and right when he was giving her money, the big dude showed up, and so he came through shooting, blasting people. So they gotta have some Wild Wild West moments, and of course none of this is like, this is where I think how they make it just more drama and suspenseful. This ain't stuff that really happened. So nevertheless, he came through shooting. Meech pretty much shot him, and then shot him again in the chest, and then Goldie finished them off. So she pretty much said, he's a high runner for motorsports, which is connected to the mob, and if they find out, they're gonna want to find out who killed their top earner. And basically, she was giving them names, and if they found out I had something to do with it, basically, if they found out you had something to do with it, they'd string you and kill you. So she like, I gotta get out of town, me and my sister. So down it's so heartfelt with her and her sister. We know her sister had AIDS. She's on a ventilation system. She trying to tell Sissy, we gotta go on the run. The sister's like, man, I'm tired of fighting. She been tired of fighting for her life, and she don't want to live like this. And pretty much, knowing she's on borrowed time, living off a ventilator. And so she told Goldie, you gotta let me go. So Meech was there, and she's like, I can't do it. So Meech just like calmed her so that she could pull the plug and take her off of oxygen, and which allowed her to pass away. Meanwhile, Goldie got to get gone. So Goldie seemed like she was gonna be a good character. I don't know how they gonna write her off, because now she gonna be wanted. Well, all I can see is them eventually finding her and killing her. So I mean, it seemed like she could have been a good character for the A. And nevertheless, she told Meech to go to Magic City and see a guy named Robert Fuller. And when Meech goes to the club Magic City, basically she told him, don't let them find out you had something to do with that killing. And he sees the goons that when they was at Freaknik, the Dread and his boy, they see him in there. So now that's just saying, okay, they're gonna be a problem down the road. And that was Meech back in Atlanta. Meanwhile, back in the D in Detroit, you had Terry and Markeisha rolling around Detroit, and she telling him basically we need to go house hunting or whatever. And he sees Lamar on some sherm head, stoned out, walking down the street. And so it comes to a light. He pressing for the person to go. A van pulls up. It's Saint jumps out of the car, just starts shooting. He told her duck. So this is eventful too. So I don't know how they will potentially get out of this situation. I mean, he literally pulled up on the side of the car, jumped out, and started shooting. I don't know how he gonna miss anybody. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that play out. Or maybe Terry was had people telling him, and they're gonna come out and shoot up Saint. However that's gonna play out, that's gonna be interesting. But that's a good cliffhanger to leave for the end of the season, to keep you intrigued to come back for season 3. Now we enter into the Power series. Ghost Book 2 is going to start. So it's going right into that. So they, online through social media, they've been warring with each other, seeing who got the better show. So right now, as like the main characters for each show, you got Tariq St. Patrick, and then you got Meech on BMF or whatever. So Little Meech, of course, is playing Big Meech on the show, and he's killing his role. Now we got Michael Rainey Jr. plays as Tyreek for Power Ghost. We're gonna see how he do, because Little Meech didn't have as much experience with the acting, but he's coming in strong, playing as his pop. So I'm pretty sure after he get finished with this BMF stuff, and if he stay focused enough and not stay out of trouble, he gonna get some more roles, because he killing the role or whatever. And we're gonna see if Michael Rainey Jr. how he do, and this Ghost, and we're gonna see if they keep us intrigued, or we're gonna be looking at this like, it's time for them to wrap this up. So we'll see. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, stay tuned for the recap of Power Ghost 2, Power season 3. Till next time, subscribe to the channel.